Imagine waking up in a sterile room millions of miles from Earth, with no memory of who you are or how you got there. That is the reality for Ryland Grace. This is a view of our sun. It is currently under attack by a microscopic alien organism called astrophage, which is actively consuming its energy. This energy loss is sending Earth hurtling toward a frozen extinction. Grace is the sole survivor of a desperate one-way trip to the Tau Ceti star system. His goal is to find a star immune to the infection and somehow send the cure back across the light years. The survival of the human race rests entirely on a man who cannot even remember his own name. As his memory returns, the truth about his past surfaces. Grace is a disgraced molecular biologist who left academia to become a middle school science teacher. When an accident killed the mission's primary science experts just days before launch, Grace was asked to step in. He refused. He was terrified of a suicide mission and wanted to spend his remaining years on Earth safely out of harm's way. Eva Stratt, the project leader, held absolute, unchecked authority. She possessed the power to override any law on Earth to ensure the mission's success. Stratt had Grace physically restrained, sedated him, and administered a chemical agent to wipe his short-term memory. He was launched into deep space against his will. Grace is a terrified hostage, drugged and sent on a solitary death sentence he desperately tried to escape. At the Tau Ceti system, Grace encounters the impossible. Drifting alongside his ship is a massive, geometrically sleek alien vessel. Inside is Rocky, a five-legged spider-like engineer from a planet called Arid. Like Earth, Rocky's homeworld is facing a total extinction event caused by the astrophage. They bridge the biological divide by building a translator. The software converts Rocky's musical, chord-based language into English text blocks. Sharing resources and mathematics, the two isolated scientists investigate the anomaly. A deep friendship forms in the void of space. Interstellar survival in this story relies on radical collaboration and the pooling of collective intelligence. Together, they find a solution. They discover a microscopic predator that naturally hunts and consumes the deadly astrophage. They successfully breed a strain of this predator, named Talmoba, capable of surviving the harsh atmospheres of their respective homeworlds. With the mission complete, the two part ways. Grace loads samples of the Talmoba into unmanned probes and fires them toward Earth. Rocky departs for Arid with his own supply. Grace is left with a ship that can't make it home. He prepares to die alone, believing his forced obligation to humanity is finished. The kidnapped coward fulfilled his mandated duty, resigning himself to become a quiet casualty of war. After separating, Grace discovers a critical error. The Talmoba has mutated. These red microbes are breaking the molecular bonds of xenonite, the substance Rocky's ship is built from. The mutation will devour his fuel containment, leaving him stranded. Without Talmoba, Arid will die. Rocky is traveling completely blind to this mutation, and Grace has no way to warn him. The probes for Earth are secure, but Rocky is about to die in the dark. Grace faces a final choice. He has enough fuel to return to Earth and live as a celebrated hero, or he can turn his ship around and give up his life for his friend. Grace fires his thrusters. He abandons his triumphant homecoming, choosing to spin his ship around to intercept and rescue the doomed Rocky. Decades later, the sun's infection is cleared and Earth is saved, and a much older Grace lives peacefully inside a specialized alien biodome, teaching science to Aridian children. In the end, Grace didn't find his purpose in a forced mission for a grand, abstract cause. He found it in the one friend he chose to save.